And also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Singapore on 4th of September as part of his two-nation tour. The ASEAN nation has been a traditional ally of India and the highest source of FDI in India. The fifth state visit by Prime Minister Modi is likely to strengthen the economic and cultural ties between the two countries. Akshay Dongre gets us more.
After his first ever state visit to Brunei, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Singapore on the 4th of September after a gap of 6 years. This is Prime Minister Modi's fifth visit to Singapore after he assumed office and has enthused the Indian diaspora across the East Asian country.
Our foreign policies are improved. That's what I can see, I can feel. People are, other people talking about our country. So I think a lot of positive things are happening. And I'm excited as PM is coming here. And surely all Indians will celebrate and will welcome him.
The visit to Singapore is significant as this is PM Modi's first visit after assuming a third historic term, along with Lawrence Wong assuming the charge of Prime Minister of Singapore this year in the month of May. The bilateral visit is likely to deepen relations between the two nations.
It's a very important and a historic visit. It's Prime Minister's fifth visit, as you rightly mentioned. Now, a visit very early on in his third term is really, really historic because Prime Minister Lawrence Wong also has taken office in May, and a meeting between two prime ministers very early on in their respective tenures will set the course for our bilateral relationship in the next decade or so.
India and Singapore have been traditional allies with shared heritage, history and cultural ties, along with deep economic relations. The impetus given by the Modi government has significantly improved the bond between the two nations. Besides cultural ties, the visit by Prime Minister Modi will focus on futuristic cooperation in areas including digitalization, sustainability, skills, health, connectivity and advanced manufacturing. These include semiconductors and aviation technology. Taken all together, these are likely to give a boost to economic cooperation between the two nations.
Certainly, Singapore having a small percentage of Indian and Indian origin people, they make culturally much more share of the noise of Singapore because there's so much of activity that happens which draws a lot of people. And we talk about culture, it's not only classical arts, it is non-classical arts, even the Bollywood, even yoga, even Indian Ayurveda, and all forms of Indian culture. Food is a very big part of it.
Indian community is one of the largest and perhaps most important communities of Singapore that has left a permanent mark on the culture of the country. As you can see everywhere, there will always be something that reminds you of India, of Indian heritage that you will find in the country. And while there has always been close cultural and historic ties between the two countries, now amid the changing geopolitical scenario, there is an increasing closer strategic relation between the two countries as well. And to nurture and to strengthen this relationship, Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India is visiting Singapore, where the two countries will aim at significantly enhancing the close ties that the two countries share at this moment. With camera person SP Dubey in Singapore, Akshay Dongre, DD India.
All right, Akshay Dongre joins us from Singapore. Akshay, good morning. Now, we've seen this detailed report of yours wherein you've explored the expectations on Prime Minister's visit. Help us understand specific areas which would further strengthen the relationship between the two countries.
Well, like in the report, we are talking about connectivity, we are talking about healthcare sector, education, digitization, and one of the most important aspects, Preeti, is advanced manufacturing. Now it involves semiconductors, it involves aviation technology, and both of these aspects are the ones where Singapore excels. In fact, it is a global leader as well when it comes to semiconductor. Now that is going to be one of the key focus of Prime Minister when he arrives here in Singapore. That is going to be today. But before that, there are a lot of bilateral engagements that are also planned with the Prime Minister of Singapore, with the President of Singapore, and other business leaders as well. So while Singapore has been eyeing India, that is one of the largest markets in the world, it has a lot of potential, it has a lot of skilled labor force, it has a lot of advanced manufacturing capabilities now evolving as well. So that is going to be in the focus, that is going to be the expectation. So now if it happens, both India and Singapore come together, it is going to be a very good news for the Indian diaspora in particular, the Indian businesses that are booming here. And now from what we have seen, It's not just small eateries or restaurants that are booming as far as the Indian culture here is concerned and the Indian businesses, but also there are large businesses too that have evolved into, from small businesses to now global iconic businesses that have started from Singapore. And this is something that the people of Indian origin here in Singapore take a lot of pride in as well, both the culture and the heritage of India that they are continuously spreading here. So it's a very it's a win-win situation for both the countries. Singapore and India have been great trade allies. In fact, Singapore is India's one of the largest trade ally, the largest, in fact, source of foreign direct investment as far as last financial year is concerned. So there is a lot of expectation as far as the Indian diaspora as well as the Singaporean government from this visit that is going to take place today by the Prime Minister Modi today evening. Back to you.
All right, Akshay, we'll leave it here. Thank you for joining in with those details. The Ontario Municipal Employees Retirement System